Fuel's Racetrack Designs IndyCar Series heads to Kentucky for their 9th race of the season. After a wild race in Fontana last week that ended in controversy, Andrew Wood vies for a second straight victory. John Poole feels like he got one taken away, so he's going to be extremely aggressive to get a victory tonight. Racetracks in Kentucky are typically associated with horse racing. We've got 650 horses per car tonight and 25 cars on track. Welcome to Sim TV for the 9th race of the Fuel Racetrack Designs IndyCar Series. My name, of course, is Kyle Hire, joined tonight by Finian DeCuna. And Finian, we always love going to 1.5 milers with the IR18 IndyCar. Lately, this has been putting on some of the best racing we've ever seen on Sim TV. Your thoughts tonight as we head into the 9th round of the season?
You know, really looking forward to this. Really, just in general, both IndyCar Series have done a phenomenal job. They really put on some really entertaining racing with these cars, and from the looks of it, you know, we're currently in the late afternoon going into night here. The track's going to get nice and grippy, and I think once these cars have grip, they make for some of the most entertaining racing on the surface.
Qualifying underway right now. You see the times already getting put in towards the top of the board, and right at the moment, it's Jack Anderick with a 24.397. Let's head down to the racetrack and catch up with Nicholas Johnston in the number 28 as he rolls onto the back straightaway. It's finally time to go racing again after a week off after Fontana. Now, you got to leave a little bit early towards the end of the Fontana race. Now, what ended up happening there was a caution at the end of the race, so there was some controversy surrounding that, Finian. It was decided that races will be done by iRacing race control and not by the caution lights. That may play a factor here tonight as well, so we have to keep an eye on that as the night goes on. Philip Clark in the 11 goes to the top of the board with a 24.339. Other cars out on the track. Eric Gonzalez in the 42 was one of the best cars at Fontana last week, and the bad luck continued for him. Got wrecked out late, battling with, I believe it was Nicholas Johnson, and he and Eric were basically dooring each other down the straightaway, ended up crashing out. And of course, this is the guy that was denied the victory last week, was so close, ahead at the time of caution, but not at the scoring loop, and was denied a victory last week.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, the big thing for him is that he's more importantly going to expand that points lead. He's currently 72 points ahead of Kyton Bommersbach, so, which expanded from being second place and only, I think, 68 from the next car up. So he's expanded that points lead to a very good state, although he's not entirely in the clear just yet, because he's got 100 points for winning. So he's still in danger of getting passed from guys from behind, but he's got a little bit of a cushion now.
Andrew Wood in the 32, the winner from last week, ended a long drought of poor finishes, and it was just such a huge confidence boost for this young man after the frustrations he's had not only in the Fuel Racetrack Designs IndyCar Series, but also in the Indy Elite Series, sponsored by MyLaps, that runs on Sunday night. So he's actually turned not only this series around, but had a decent run up until the end of the MyLaps Indy Elite Series race last Sunday. So he's got momentum on his side, and qualifying right now has not gone so great for him, but we'll see what he rolls on lap number 2 here.
The more important lap, the bigger lap of importance, and here comes down to the inside, keeping it nice and tight to the apex and to that yellow line. We gotta watch out. I definitely think you see someone hit that at some point.
Apron was a concern last week at Auto Club, but will be tonight as well. 217 across the line. P3 for the 32 car as he rolls on through.
And look at the separation for the top 3. Everyone's separated by the top 2 separated by 0.02 of a second.
Yeah, right now, first and second, they have tied for the pole. .000, 24.305 for both Eric Gonzalez and Jason Brophy. That is pretty cool. Stephen Larkamp trying to break it up, though, rolling high in 3 and 4, setting up for what should be his fastest second lap here, so we'll ride on board.
Yeah, he's just going to be able to cross the line in time. You see him staying at the top of 5th. You're not bothering to go into 6th.
Onto the back straightaway now. And I imagine first lap out is going to run, actually this is going to be his second lap, so he'll probably run pretty close to the bottom, right against that yellow line. Don't hit that apron. 11 seconds to the end of qualifying. Can Larkamp move up from 21st across the line over the bumps? A 24.348, it'll be good enough for 8th. So Larkamp.
We got Liam Machine actually rolling. I don't know if he'll be able to get, nope, he won't be able to get a lap in time.
Gonzalez and Brophy tie for the pole here at Kentucky as we get ready to go racing for 134 laps. Here is a look at your race information tonight here, Finian. 134 laps, 195.7 miles, so just shy of 200. for this 134 lap race. Your thoughts about Kentucky? This is going to be a short race, only 54 minutes if we go green from start to finish. Kentucky is a challenging racetrack for sure, but what are your thoughts on this place about all of its bumps and intricacies?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting in the IndyCar. I haven't had a huge amount of laps here in this particular car, but yeah, definitely the flat corners are going to make it interesting. Typically at tracks like Texas, tracks that have more banking to use, you can really throw in some dive bombs to the inside, chuck it to the inside, and try to hope that it sticks. Here, this track's a little bit more flatter, especially considering that the speeds are going. So these guys, I imagine, are going to be getting pretty tight over the course of the run.
Let's take a look at our starting lineup here tonight. On the front row, it's going to be of course, they tied, so it messed up the timing and scoring, but it's going to be Eric Gonzalez, as well as, I believe it was, who was the other driver on that side? No, Eric Gonzalez and, I'm trying to look for Jason Brophy in the 44. Yes. Moving on back to fifth, that's row number 3, John Poole and Kite Bommersbach. Again, John Poole so close to winning earlier this week.
Yeah, and we got Philip Clark in the 11 on the inside of him, and outside will be Stephen Larkamp in the 31. Will be starting in 8th.
Nicholas Johnson in 9th in the number 28 car, got caught up in a crash at the end of last week. Danny Roberts in the 41, still looking to cash in on his success back from the ISDC days.
Yeah, and then we got in 11th, Cohen Evans in the 17 from Texas. And outside of him, Vic Bloom in the 99 for the Midwest will be starting in 12th.
13th place is going to be Jack Andrick in the number 9. Was on provisional pole for a little while in qualifying. Couldn't get the deal done. Mike Hurley starts in 14th in his number 33. He's from Michigan.
And back in 15th, the 00 Don Ronkel Jr. from California will be starting on the inside. And Cristobal Valenzuela in the 3 from Chile will be starting in 16th.
Brian Harris in the number 73 starts 17th, right alongside Johnny Martin from Indiana in his number 12 on the outside of row number 9.
Moving on back to 19th, we got Evan Adams in the 59 from Illinois, and outside of him, Rodrigo Munoz, also I believe he's also from Chile, in the 09 on the outside.
Will Roberts starting back in 21st. A couple more cars beyond that as they gridded up and did not actually run a qualifying lap. So as we get ready to go racing tonight at the front, 2 drivers tied for the pole. It was Brophy and Gonzalez. Your predictions for tonight, I think Eric Gonzalez has been denied too many times at ovals. I think tonight is his night. He's going to need a little bit of luck on his side, but he's run so well only to get crashed out of so many of these races. Tonight is his night.
Yeah, and again, you see that he's really, really good at qualifying. He's almost always in the first 2-3 rows. So, at least in the races that we've covered so far. So, I wouldn't be too surprised to see him in the front here. We just have to hope he actually can stay there and nothing bad happens to him.
Beautiful night here in Kentucky. 77 in the air, 81 on the racetrack. Wind 2 miles an hour out of the north, partly cloudy skies as the sun sets into the horizon. Here we go. 134 laps, 196 miles of action tonight. Green flag flies, racing in Kentucky.
Great start for Eric Gonzalez, and you see right in behind him, Brophy will go to his inside to try to get a little bit of a draft as everyone's fanning out in turn 1. Very orderly start.
Andrew Wood in that number 32 car won last week after such a frustrating season. And look at Brophy to the outside in turn 3. Strong move up there, and look at Andrew Wood and Woody Mahan behind him. Both those drivers kind of sizing up those 2 leaders as they run side by side to complete lap number 1 across the line. Wow, 66 thousandths of a second as they come across the line the first time.
See Brophy already trying to roll that outside lane, trying to get one up on Eric Gonzalez. Can't quite get it just yet. Eric is glued to the inside and now makes a move to the inside for Brophy.
Aggressive racing early on here at Kentucky. Side by side for the lead. Brophy edges ahead of Gonzalez in through turns 3 and 4. Behind them, Philip Clark in the 11 runs up high in the racetrack. He's following a group of cars as they come across the line, but everyone's being very aggressive right now. But we're going to see a lot of tire wear. This track is pretty abrasive. And as the night goes on, I think we're going to see a lot of drop-off in times.
You see Clark's trying to find a way in line. Roberts moving himself up into 10th place.
Eric Gonzalez back to the top spot. Woody Mahan into second. Brophy falls to third, and Kite Bommersbach in the 37. Again, chasing down the championship leader, John Poole. He sits 5th right now because Bommersbach and Poole back right behind him in 7th.
Yeah, I think Bommersbach's going to have to hope that Poole doesn't really have good of a day, although his last few runs would beg to differ for John Poole, so we'll see how he can stick with the leader. But speaking of the leaders in this race, at least, Woody Mahan's attacking Eric Gonzalez for the lead.
Yeah, look at the run he's trying to build on the outside groove. This is going to be a multi-groove racetrack tonight. We didn't really see a whole lot of this at Kentucky when the Cup Series was here a few weeks ago. It was pretty much, it looked like it was mostly middle of the racetrack groove there. But now it looks like Gonzalez is right on that yellow line, Mahan in the middle, and Brophy's trying another lane up. So trying to find some speed here early, and all three lanes look like they've got pace here early in the going.
Yeah, Brophy walking that outside. He's going way to the outside, getting a lane up on Mahan. And you see not many people trying to attempt to pass to the inside.
Jack Andrick and Vic Bloom in their orange and red cars respectively through turns 1 and 2. Look at how high Vic Bloom is up on the racetrack, almost 3/4 of the way up. And down on the bottom of the racetrack, there's a car real slow. That's Cohen Evans in the 17. I don't know if he's got some damage or what, but he's lost a bunch of spots on this lap.
Might have clipped the apron or something, or got loose, but yeah, he was really slow, dropping all the way to the back.
It started 17th, drops to 18th, and might even lose another spot, and the connection goes away for a moment there for Cohen Evans. That could be another reason why he's bailing out. Front of the field, though, side by side for the lead. These two are not giving up.
Yeah, they're not giving up, and Mahan's not giving up that high lane. He hasn't budged from there. And this could all be part of his plan, just making Eric use up his tires a little bit more on that inside lane. He's going to just run one lane up and use the momentum to his advantage.
Again, Gonzalez arguably the car to beat at Fontana last week. And again, just like Pocono last season, led most of the race, only get crashed out late in the going. So he is hungry for a victory and probably isn't willing to give anybody any shot tonight. So he's going to be extremely aggressive, holding that yellow line down.
And right behind them, Tukainen Bommersbach in the 37. He's got up to the front of the field. Now he wants to have a say in this battle for the lead. As well as Steve DeMarcamp too. So a lot of I think the guys that we would expect are all up here in this front pack.
Absolutely. Larkamp started 8th, up 3 spots into 5th. That's a good climb forward for him. Didn't really get the greatest of qualifying efforts, but I know one guy right now. The 2 leaders from last week were nose to tail, and now they are again. John Poole, Andrew Wood, 23-32. Last week denied a victory, fought hard against the ruling fitting. He felt like he earned that race, and he was ahead when the caution came out, but the rules were determined to say that iRacing, whether it looks correct or not, owns the timing and scoring system. So if you're scored in second, you're second, and that's the decision that it came to. But this guy's fired up and wants a victory bad.
Yeah, and he was so close to getting it, although still, again, grand scheme of things, is doing really well in the points, and really he doesn't need to force the issue.
Big picture.
Yeah,
Play the big picture.
It's really all about the big picture, and as long as he can keep within, right in behind Tukainen Bommersbach, who's running in 4th, I think that's going to be a successful day for him.
Danny Roberts was middle 3 wide for a moment. He's been aggressive so far tonight, off into turn 1. You see the big scramble of cars ahead, but it seems like this race has calmed down quite a bit, a lot sooner than I would have thought it. I mean, they're still kind of duking and diving up front, but for the most part, single filed out, maybe trying to save some fuel, get yourself in a window here.
Yeah, and again, I think it's just looking bigger picture here, still on lap 11, 134, so you see, I think Mahan, he's trying to get the lead, but not, again, just trying not to force the issue if he doesn't have to.
So fuel window anywhere between 48 and 53 laps, almost a quarter of the way through that already. These cars about 4.1 to 4.3 miles per gallon on this Speedway package. Well, they made them lower downforce, they made them slipperier, but they're still not exactly Priuses out there, are they?
Yeah, definitely not. As you see, Mahan he's getting a side drive. Now he's getting a little bit aggressive with the draft on the side of Eric Gonzalez. You see that slowing both of them down. Brophy getting a big run in behind them.
Yeah, if you're Eric Gonzalez, obviously you've had races taken away from you. Are you willing to be this aggressive this early? Because this seems a little bit dangerous for a guy that's trying not to get wrecked. I mean, would you back out of this and let these guys fight it out and come back later, or do you think track position is going to be important tonight?
I think definitely the track position is going to be important. I mean, we see that he's been running fine up there in clean air to the inside, hasn't had a problem with grip. So I think definitely clean air is going to be the name of the game. You see Brophy now working to the outside of Mahan.
Offset like fighter jets through turns 1 and 2. And now using that slipstream down the back straightaway, you see him in 6th gear already at the top of it. The blue lights flashing on the dash, tacked out. Mahan dives to the inside in 3 and clears Eric Gonzalez for the lead. But Gonzalez going to fight back hard on the outside lane.
Yeah, and it should be Mahan at the line, so he will lead this lap. And that'll be one more, and I think that'll be actually the first lead change we've seen all night.
Yeah,
nope,
officially 3 lead changes. I think there was a couple other times when Brophy might have had the lead for a second, but Gonzalez sticks the nose up the outside lane, not willing to give it up this early in the going.
Yeah, he's going to have to give it up for this corner, though, however, but I think he's definitely going to be aggressive getting that back. And here we see now Tukainen Bommersbach, and also, who's that to the inside? It's Brophy, and also Nicholas Johnson. He's made his charge. He's been sitting quietly in 8th. Now he's making his charge to the front.
Still side by side for the lead. Gonzalez back down on the bottom of the racetrack. He's been bottom feeding all night long so far. He's going to tuck back in. Doesn't have the run to do it. Meanwhile, behind it's a hornet's nest for third place. Brophy at the front of this group, and look at Steven Larkamp closing right up to the rear spoiler of the I think that's the 44 Brophy. Actually, that's John Poole in the 23, and drove right up to the rear of him. Lost the downforce on the nose and couldn't complete the pass, and now Mahan trying the outside lane again, but Gonzalez might be able to re-clear himself here.
This is interesting too. You're seeing two different dynamics between these guys. Mahan prefers the outside, Eric prefers the inside, and they're both still going side by side. Remember, these guys are using fixed setups, so they have the exact same setup in the car, can't make any adjustments to it.
Yeah, that's the difference between this series and Indy Elite that runs on Sunday nights, is that these setups are the same for everybody, so any kind of advantage you get is all done on driving style alone, and Mahan using the outside groove, and that's going to play off better in the long run. You're not scrubbing those tires off quite as hard.
Yeah, looking back, Larkamp lost a lot of time with that move. He had a back off that I think lost 2 or 3 positions and is now under threat from getting past from Danny Roberts, who's been sitting in his Ferrari in the back.
Yeah, Danny Roberts in the 41 and Mike Hurley in the 33 sitting just behind. Philip Clark in the 11 was quick in practice and a little bit in qualifying as well. So some aggressive driving here early, but 19 laps complete. No yellows to speak of so far, but Larkamp and Roberts continue to fight for ninth.
They're going to go side by side. I'm curious what Larkamp's going to do. If he's just going to let the 91 on by, or if he's going to try to fight for it. He's almost in the wall.
Wow, that was a little too close for comfort. That's going to bring the 33 of Hurley into the mix. This is going to be a fight for 10th spot, and Hurley will get the nose ahead into turn 1.
Yeah, Larkamp has just kind of lost momentum at the moment. He's starting to drop back a little bit, so hopefully he can get that turn in the right direction. But the two leaders still fighting in the front, and they still have a little bit of a gap, although Brophy, Johnson, and Poole are trying to bring that back down.
Yeah, they're not done fighting yet. Gonzalez is hungry, and he's going to be like a mosquito in the ear of Mahan tonight, not willing to give up anything. Meanwhile, in the mid-pack, there is some good battles going on. There's Brian Harris in the 73 right behind Evan Adams and Christopher Valenzuela. Was asking about the pit sequence tonight, about the apron around here. I don't think you have to use it at Kentucky like you do at Homestead. So just questions on tracks you don't normally go to. Some drivers might not know.
Yeah, I was going to say, but these guys have to be careful when they're coming down into pit road, and make sure you, especially you really have to make sure you're calling it out here, because if someone's not paying attention and they can't see you, they're going to end up hitting you from behind when you're slowing up the pit road. So you got to make sure you're calling it on the radio.
Nicholas Johnson just used up all the space that Brophy had on the entrance to turn number 1. Almost ran him up into the fence. Close quarters racing here. Now, we raced at Fontana last week. There was a lot of room. Not so much. I mean, it's still not necessarily a narrow racetrack, but after you come from a place like Fontana, anything's going to feel like the Isle of Man at this point.
Yeah, it definitely is, especially the way these guys come up off the corner. It really all kind of forms up into almost one lane. Really want to be careful here. Looking at Riley Thompson in the 56, he's working with Philip Clark, and they're battling for 11th place.
Yeah, not necessarily a great start for the 56, but let me tell you something. This guy is due for a victory in something soon, I'm telling you. He started back in 22nd, though.
Also in behind Scott Taylor in the 95.
He started in 23rd. He's up to 13th place right now, so plus 10 for him.
Yeah, finished 7th at Auto Club last week, and also has Taco Bell on the side of the car.
Oh, nice. I could go for some Taco Bell right now. What? Is that an idea?
I think it's an idea.
I think it's a really good idea. I guess we're going to Taco Bell after this.
Honestly, I'm at a point I don't really care.
I mean, I would like to go, so we're going. I haven't eaten dinner yet, so
Thanks, Scott.
We're making plans. Thanks, Scott Taylor. Hey, sponsorship works. I'm just telling you. Hey, put your logo on a race car. We'll go use your product or service, depending on what it is. I mean, if you've got a Viagra car, I don't know if we'll have to. We're not there yet.
I hope I wouldn't have to use that. At least
we're not there yet. We're still in college. Anyway, whoa! Look at Larkamp in front of this group. Philip Clark to the inside and behind. Mike Hurley and Don Runkle Jr. fighting for 14th.
And he actually got, I think, shuffled. He was actually higher up in the order, if I'm not mistaken.
He's dropped back down. At his peak, he was up at 11th. So yeah, he's back in 14th place now. But kind of a hornet's nest around here, Finian. Not everyone's not necessarily organized at the moment. And look at Riley Thompson, elevator top to bottom in turn 3, a dive underneath Philip Clark, and almost completed the pass, and he will out of turn 4. Great move there.
Yeah, now it's going to try to work over Larkamp. And Larkamp, it's really been, I don't know what's happened, if he's just used up his tires too much, but yeah, he's just not been able to go back forward in that 31 car. He's been consistently dropping back down the order. I think he can't wait until he can finally come down on pit road and start making some pit stops, because he's kind of not looking, his car's not looking that good at the moment.
About halfway through our fuel run, maybe just a little bit past that point, actually. So Take a look at our stint graphic. Of course, 28 laps into the race, 28 laps into the stint. But what lane you've been using is going to determine a lot of that. Look at Gonzalez now. He's having to fight off Nicholas Johnston for second because Gonzalez was utilizing that bottom lane, scrubbing off all that Firestone tire. And now Johnston's going to just roll right around the outside and make that pass look easy. And Gonzalez got behind on strategy last week at Auto Club. I think the strategy hurt him there, and hopefully he gets it back on schedule here tonight because that was really what lost in that race other than the accident.
Yeah, and just doing some quick math. So these guys, if they want to make this in 2 stops, they would have to come out around lap 44 for the first pit stop. That's definitely within their pit window. A little bit less, so they're going to be short pitting a bit, but I think we might see some guys try to do that being on track with strategy.
Riley Thompson in the 56. He's kind of sandwiched between Mike Hurley and the 31 of Larkamp. We always talk about arrow wash, arrow push, Finian. How can you get rid of that, and what is that for the people that might not necessarily know?
Yeah, really all it is just the car in front punching a hole through the air. And really the problem is that these cars, you can't drive these cars in a vacuum. They have to be, in air and atmosphere to get that downforce on the wings. You see the front wing, and even if you look in the back, a little bit of a rear wing. It definitely, while it might not seem like a lot, it produces a lot of downforce for these cars. And when you're right behind someone, you don't get that air to those parts to give yourself some downforce. So that's what you see a lot of problem with guys stalling out. And again, clearly the problem that NASCAR has.
Well,
very big problem NASCAR has.
Now, downforce makes things go fast, but it also prevents you from going fast if you're following people because of that vacuum as you described. Low pressure area, that was close for 4th. Eric Gonzalez and Andrew Wood. Inches between them. Let's go take a look at that.
That was a high pressure area there between them.
High intensity at the very least. Here's a look.
Yeah.
This could not have been inches between them at that closest point there. Wow.
And again, that's what the tire's starting to wear out. I mean, these guys, some of the guys in the pack, they're running about 0.8 of a second slower than their fastest lap, and I think that's just due to, again, with dealing with the dirty air. They're really running a lot slower. The leader, however, is only running about 3/10 off their time.
I don't know what's up with Cohen Evans. I know his internet's been kind of imperfect tonight, but he's just riding around at the back of the field, and I'm not exactly sure what that reason is. It could be for the internet, but if it's not for that, I'm a little bit concerned about the 17 right now.
Hopefully he can get this turn back around. That's still pretty young. We're coming up on a bunch of pit stops, so yeah, he's continuing to drop a bit.
I'm not sure how long that'll work for. He's dropped off for quite some time now. Woody Mahan, right now, Finian, he's led 19 laps. His best lap, a 24.389, 215.5 miles an hour average speed around here. That's insanely fast. I think Cohen Evans has officially dropped out due to internet connectivity issues.
That sucks. Just as we were looking at him. So that brings us down to 24 of the 26 guys you started with still running on the track, all of which are on the lead lap.
34 laps complete here at Kentucky Speedway for the 9th round of the 2019 Fuel Racetrack Designs IndyCar Series. If you want to check out the Racetrack Designs subreddit, it's a pretty cool place. There's a link in the video description. So Nicholas Johnson up to 2nd place, and again, he's had a pretty good season so far, looking for a couple more victories though, and Jason Brophy in his 44 also stepping up to the plate the last couple weeks.
Yeah, while we've been talking or looking at the back of the field, Eric Gonzalez has dropped all the way back to 5th.
Yeah, again, this is probably a product of where he was running on the racetrack.
Yeah.
He was running on the bottom and scrubbing off that rubber.
Yeah, I mean, if you notice too, Wood and Nicholas Johnston, they were kind of laying back for the most part the early part of the run, the first 15 laps. And now they're finally making their charge to the front and currently ahead of some of these guys. So yeah, so Gonzalez kind of struggling. I think he can't wait to get back on pit road. And again, we expect most of these guys, they might start coming down at around lap 44.
Yeah, so actually, let's ride on board and just listen to how much he has to lift for the corner.
And going back down into 5th here.
And gets right back on it by the middle of the corner. If we head up to Woody Mahan right now, who's running some of the best laps on the racetrack.
Yeah, I think he's pretty much
almost full throttle
yeah.
still. So that just goes to show you the tire wear difference between the 42 and the 8, just based on the line that they were running earlier in the race.
And also the fact, too, that Gonzalez is facing some dirty air, too. With the clean air that 8's got, he could pretty much go flat out where he was.
And here's Bommersbach in the 37, going to go the long way around. Should take away 5th from Gonzalez here within a couple minutes. This race is ticking by very quickly, Finian. This race would have taken about 54 minutes. We're about 15 in already, 38 of 134 complete. So time is flying right now.
Yeah, time is really starting to fly and getting up on pit stops within the next 10 laps. First time these guys will be on pit road. Hopefully they practice. I would hope that they do, because getting down on pit road if you haven't practiced is honestly really terrifying. As you see now, Gonzalez and Kyle Bommersbach fighting for a position. This is Bommersbach attacking Gonzalez for 5th place.
And now Gonzalez can use that dirty air to his advantage to hold that 37 back, but it's only a matter of time. This racetrack's wide enough where you can find room to race, even if the driver's purposely trying to block you. I mean, you've got plenty of options.
Look at the run that he's getting by the end of the straightaway. He's about 5 miles an hour faster, Kyle Bommersbach is. He's around the outside now. Just trying to get some clean air through the corners, and I think he's struggling with it. He might have to wait until the pit stops to try to get around Eric Gonzalez. He's looking like he's struggling at the moment. There you see also championship leader John Poole. Pretty much the championship 2 fighting behind.
Well, that's brought this battle with Gonzalez has brought Poole into the mix. Last time by, Poole was 0.2 of a second quicker than Eric Gonzalez and Kyten Bommersbach. So that tells me that Gonzalez is holding up Bommersbach with the air off his car, and that's brought this 23, the points leader, right into the mix. And right now, the points shuffle a lot each week because of how the point system is structured. And John Poole is leading, but could drop out if he doesn't have a great finish tonight. So it's important for Poole to be consistently good over the next couple races.
And again, I said he's got a decent lead at 72 points, but again, he's not entirely in the clear, especially considering we got 6 races remaining, including tonight.
Closing in on our first green flag pit stop sequence. Your thought, overcut, undercut? We've dropped about 3 to 4 of a second.
I think, well, and maybe not so much paramount for the leader. I would think definitely, though, if you're a guy running in the midfield, you're definitely going to want to be coming in for tires. Their times are significantly slower. Now almost at a second off from what they were at the start of this race.
This is not going the way that Steven Larkamp wanted it. He's dropped all the way down to 13th place, 5 spots from where he started. This is concerning for me.
Yeah. I don't know really what's the best course of action for him too with the way he's running. So he's trying to get around Mike Hurley now for 12th place. He can, I would say, probably best thing for him would be to come down on pit road. But I guess if he can feel like he may be able to get something out of the car by staying out an extra few laps, maybe have some better runs than some of the guys on the next stint, that might work for him. But yeah, it's just not been a good night. And remember, Larkamp's 3rd in the points.
Trying to take a look at who's run our fastest lap of the race. I'm fairly certain it's Nicholas Johnston. And it's the 28 car, yeah. 217.5 average speed over the course of the lap. That is insane to me, Finian. Right now he's flying.
Yeah, he's flying. There's a battle for 5th place between Bommersbach and Gonzalez yet again. It looks like Bommersbach's finally gotten around. But, oh, he's not clear yet. Here comes Gonzalez back on the inside.
Trying to fight back and drive down in deep. He's been using that inside lane, but now he just can't carry the momentum. He's got to lift too much, and Bommersbach should be able to complete this pass as Jason Brophy hits pit lane on lap 46. A bit sooner than maybe we thought, but I think some other drivers are going to hit pit lane as well. Here comes Danny Roberts.
Oh, and the car's sliding in the background. That's Will Roberts. I don't know if he hit something. No,
looks
he didn't.
Okay.
He almost hit something. Actually, if we took a look at that, he got really close to nailing one of the walls.
Wow, he slid in, and it's going to be maybe a speeding penalty as well. But wow, turned it right back before the end of the wall cutoff.
I think probably gave the medical crew a little bit of a heart attack. That's where they would be stationed.
Yeah. So of course, Will Roberts tonight. In that 39 car, close shave at the wall, and shouldn't really lose a whole lot of time. Maybe because he spun out, he gave up all the rest of the time in that loop, so he should be okay. So when do the leaders pit? I mean, you just probably want to stay out as long as you can, I would think.
Yeah, it depends what you're up to. For Mahan, I can definitely see him staying out.
Ooh, whoa! Andrew Wood a little aggressive on entry.
Yeah.
Locking up.
Again, because if you want to cut this up evenly, you want to come out around lap 44, lap 45, which is what we saw Brophy and Johnston come in at. But some of these guys might try to run just a little bit out. They can go a little bit longer on the fuel. You can see Liam Sheen coming in for his stop.
Started in 19th, dropped back to 24th, but it climbed all the way back up to 18th at one point, so he slots on in. And leader Woody Mahan still rolling.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him stay out for a few more laps, so maybe into the end of the tank. Again, he's been out here in clean air for the most part of this race. And especially a lot of his competitors in behind have, for the most part, stayed out.
Yeah, he's been in control of this as he comes on down after leading 35 of the first 50 laps. Again, a lot of drivers struggling with this pit entry, sliding around a lot. Kite Bommersbach in the background. And I think he's in safe.
Yeah, a lot of guys really forcing in the pit entry. You want to be careful. Don't want to throw away your lead.
Oh, another car around.
That's Philip Clark, and he's actually on the banking. That might bring out a caution.
No, it didn't. But he's going to lose a lot of time. So many drivers have been aggressive, and they're going to lose a lot of time doing that.
I said, I hope these guys practice getting on pit road. It looks like some might have not enough.
So why is this pit road entry so challenging? You see the pit road's curved.
If you want to run in behind someone or run someone going on the track, and when we get to the corner, we'll see. Okay, so here's Danny Roberts now. And you see, remember, you don't have to take that access road, which would probably be more of a pain for these guys to come out. But here's the entrance to pit road off to the left there.
Another car spun around.
That's Philip Clark, I think. No,
there's another car. Who was that? trying to see. It was another green car, I thought.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, what? No.
Nope. Trying to see who that was. Car that's on pit lane. Scott Taylor, maybe? No. Cristobal Valenzuela. I'm trying to see who that is. Not Mike Hurley. Jack Andrick wasn't. Don't know who that was, to be honest.
Maybe Johnny Martin?
Ah, Johnny Martin. That's who it was. Thank you. Green car. There's not that many.
That's what I was going through my head. Who has a green car?
Oh, he was in the grass. Hold on, we gotta go back a little farther. Here's his on board.
He had a very eventful pit road entry. You'll see here. I think he's slowing up way before the corner.
Yeah, he gets on the apron. He gets on the apron and then slowly loops it around. And lucky there was no caution. That would have really thrown everybody into confusion. But if I'm a driver right now, I'd love to stay out on the racetrack, put everyone a lap down, because with so many people making mistakes on pit lane, chance for a yellow is pretty high.
You're going to be making up a lot of time. You see,
whoa! That was about as aggressive as you can do it.
Man, I wish I put a camera there now with how hectic pit road entry is.
Typically, I mean, we had a flawless pit road execution in the Fuel Cup side. So.
I would think that these guys would have had better luck on pit road, because I think they would have practiced. Because this series has gone pretty green. Like, we've gotten to the point. It's not one of those series that's just endless caution. And you know, these guys have green flag stops, and a lot of drivers making mistakes. But currently, the way it's playing out, it looks like Jason Brophy's going to inherit the lead.
And I think that pretty much wraps up the rest of the pit sequence.
Remember, he was one of the first guys to come down on pit road, so you will easily take the lead.
He's got a 1.9 second lead over Nicholas Johnson. So now we're going to see the tire fall off, whether the undercut was worth it. And right now, to me, it looks like the 44 did a good thing. Gonzalez in third.
I think if anything else, I think the lead's going to be more important. And I was really just looking at Mahan, the way he was able to lap pretty decently compared to guys who were stuck behind in traffic. I'm looking at Eric Gonzalez and Bommersbach resuming their battle from earlier.
Yeah, these guys have been around each other all night long, and the chance for mistakes compiles lap after lap when you do this so long. But I think Gonzalez is probably going to end up losing this fight to Bommersbach.
He might be able to. Again, these tires are still fresh, so he's rolling that inside lane. That inside lane is still really good to use. I think Bommersbach might want to make a pass to the inside. We see Gonzalez defending, and you see Bommersbach got no choice but to go to the outside.
Andrew Wood following in behind. Bommersbach closed the door in turn one, but the 42 is already there. They continue to run side pod to side pod out of two. You see, look at Gonzalez all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack and off into three. Andrew Wood just sitting behind waiting for these guys to figure it out. Oh, you see the big lift 32 had to do. All the aero wash off the cars in front.
Where's Woody Mahan?
Woody Mahan, did he get a penalty?
He is
back in 10th.
Yeah,
and that tells me, yes.
That's really unfortunate.
So penalty for the 8.
I think one of the only guys to actually get a penalty from what I saw.
Of Woody Mahan. So yeah, you know, you just miss it. You just try to be a little bit too aggressive. So he's already served that penalty, but that lost him a lot of track position. He's going to need a caution to get back in this race.
He lost about 15 seconds. So actually, no, I think he might have been more than that. Actually, yeah, no, he lost about 15 seconds. So,
this is getting tight.
Boy.
Wow, wheel to wheel through 3 and 4. Bommersbach and Gonzalez not willing to give an inch. Will these guys be the first caution we see tonight?
I hope not, especially for Bommersbach's sake. He needs to.
There it is. Maybe a little bit of contact, or maybe just a scare for the 37. I don't know if they actually made contact. It was close.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is not a position Bommersbach should be putting himself in a position with.
It might have could have been some net code there as well, but I don't think there's any damage on the 37.
Doesn't look like it. Maybe, if anything, to the wheels, but I don't see anything. Of course, only the 37 of Bommersbach knows how the car's handling.
Andrew Wood was able to go on by for 4th as well.
He seems to be fine.
But it certainly scared him, and Gonzalez is on a move right now. He's getting by the 73. That's Brian Harris, who's now scored 1 lap down. Closing in on halfway, that's at lap number 67. Brian Harris way up out of the groove as Gonzalez goes on by for the lead. Here comes Nicholas Johnston.
Yeah, and again, this is these guys not directly battling with each other. And I think Johnson should be able to make quick work of Brophy as he goes to the inside. You see Brophy not even going to really try to fight it a whole lot. Yeah,
that was battle for the lead and pass complete. Now Brophy is going to head back to the inside lane on the front straightaway.
He's going to try to contest on the inside, and it looks like he still is
got it back.
Yeah.
Going to make Johnson work a little bit harder for it. Swings to the outside goes the 28. Johnson trying to set him up for a long pass, and ooh, the big slip through the center of the corner for the 44. But Johnson's now got a big run on the outside lane, clears for the top spot.
Still not done yet between them. Well, you see Johnson almost getting to the wall there, has to back off, but they're both racing side by side down the back straightaway.
Yeah, taking a look, I mean, Brophy's got 6-lap older tires. This is going to be a, a short-term gain, long-term loss to fight this 28 car.
Well, still staying with him. Although, yeah, I think he's going to lose the battle overall, but I am curious how this is going to play out for the 44 and his strategy.
They got a 5-second gap back to third place Gonzalez. They're not really in any danger of getting passed by him right now, so it's worth fighting those two, as they both have internet connectivity issues at the same time. We'll jump back to the fight. But Gonzalez in third. And he actually has been closing in as these front couple have been fighting, but Johnson finally clears Brophy, and I think this time it might have been for good. Brophy's going to try the high side, maybe try to build up another run.
I think, if anything, best thing for him to do is not even really bother. Just kind of try to stay out of the wash of the 28 in the corners, and he should be good.
Here's Gonzalez and Andrew Wood for third, excuse me.
Yeah, we saw Woods was staying in behind both Gonzalez and Bommersbach. Easily gets on by the 42 Gonzalez, but you see that 42 now has a really good run. Wood going to give him the inside lane.
Great back and forth battles here at Kentucky. Lap number 66 as we close in on halfway. Eric Gonzalez hanging on, denied a victory the last couple times he's run the ovals, and he wants one badly, and he's going to have to fight harder. Contact in turn 4, and Gonzalez goes into the wall hard. Yeah. And the side pod damage there is pretty significant, it looks like, Finian.
Yeah, it's got some damage to the rear part of that side pod, and even to his left side may have some stuff with the contact he had with Wood. Yeah, that's not insignificant as the content earlier that happened between both Gonzalez and Bommersbach.
That's difficult damage to fix as well. Yeah. I mean, if it's a nose or a front wing, it's pretty easy to replace. Meanwhile, for the lead, not done yet up here.
Yeah, not done yet. I think Brophy, if anything, he's just going to be running this high lane. I think he knows he doesn't want to be stuck on the inside in that arrow wash, but is just kind of running with it. I don't think he's trying to force the issue here.
Halfway complete here in the 9th round of the Racetracks Designs IndyCar Series for the Fuel Racing League. Lap number 67 has been completed, and we're halfway home. For the lead, Johnston takes it away from Brophy. The battle between Bommersbach, Gonzalez, and Wood has been settled out to Wood, Bommersbach, Gonzalez in that order. Throughout the rest of the field, how about Larkamp in 10th, Woody Mahan in 11th? Both these drivers started off having an okay day and now not having so good of one.
Mahan's trying to make up for his mistake, and I think he's going to be kicking himself. Oh, his Larkin was really tight in the entry of the corner. But I think Mahan's going to be kicking himself if they don't get a caution here to get himself at least some sort of leg up and back in the order. He easily could have won this race. Yeah,
right behind is Will Roberts in that 39 car. Now, we mentioned him sliding onto pit lane, narrowly avoiding getting into the fence. Well, let me tell you something. This is not a bad rebound, all things considered. After starting 21st, he's about to pass for 12th.
Yeah, I don't think it was a whole loss. Maybe 2-3 seconds at the most. He didn't completely loop it. That would have been much more treacherous to see him get a little bit tight into the wall almost. But back in 12th for the 39.
Gonzalez now under attack from John Poole. That damage certainly slowing the 42 down. He was 3/10 slower than anybody else around him the last time by, and Poole will take that and run with it, make the pass on the inside, complete it, and he'll move on. At the front of the field, Johnston has it, but Brophy's not going away. I thought this tire difference would be more significant. Now, Johnston certainly is quicker, but he's not able to break that gap.
I think because Brophy's racing is pretty smart, and you see, that's really the key difference. I think the fact that he's trying to stay out of the air on the turn, and this is really the problem. If you stay right in behind the driver in front of you in the corners, you're really going to be putting a massive load on your tires, and that's really why they start to wear out at a much more higher rate. And you see Brophy just staying out of it in the middle of the corner where he's going to need the tires the most. So he's preserving his tires by doing so, and that's why I think we're not seeing that fall off.
And also saving some fuel here as well. Again, the pit window about 47 to 55 laps. That's about what we saw there. So everyone's going to need to come at least one more time. So maybe saving some fuel, maybe short fuel the car a little bit later and get an advantage on pit lane. We'll see how that factors out. No cautions so far yet this race, but we have seen a number of lead changes, 7 to be exact, which means about a lead change once every 10 laps, and probably about to see another one with how hard Brophy's racing.
Yeah, we've been seeing, I think, a good amount of it come from this battle as well.
That is your lead battle. First and second, then third place Andrew Wood is 4.7 back, and that's Kite Bommersbach, who's closing in on him for that third spot.
And then you have championship leader John Poole having a great day in 5th place. And Eric Gonzalez, Scott Taylor, Danny Roberts, Jack Andrick, and Willie Mahan, their top 10.
Front of the field, still the tightest battle on the racetrack at the moment, and Brophy again going high and conserving that tire, and I'm worried for Nicholas Johnson because he's kind of doing what Gonzalez did the first run. It burned off the Firestones right off that right front of the 42 car. I think it'll do something similar to the 28. And Brophy's playing the long game tonight. I like this guy's strategy. Hang out in second, run the high lane, conserve your stuff, and be there at the end.
Yeah, I'm curious though what he's going to try to do here. He could try to, again, short pit and get a lead over Nicholas Johnson, but then Johnson's going to chase him back down, and then Brophy's stuck with older tires. So it's going to be curious to see what this 44's got up his sleeve.
Well, Nicholas Johnson just dropped internet connection, and that could be... he's been out for a long time.
And so is Brophy now.
Wow, they both of their connections have been subpar tonight. It could be another server issue. We know that Liam Sheen has dropped out. Nicholas Johnson certainly has.
Did we just lose both of our leaders?
We just lost both of our leaders, Finney, and both leaders lost internet connection.
I think Johnson's definitely done. I don't know about Brophy.
There's got to be a server issue, I'd have to imagine, for both those guys to drop out.
Well, Wood's going to be happy. He's going to be really happy.
Andrew Wood gifted the lead here as Brophy and Johnson fall out due to internet connectivity issues. Kai Bommersbach into second.
That really
what are the chances of that? I mean, that could be why Liam Sheen is out. Cohen Evans as well. He's 44 laps down now, that 17, after starting near the front. So I think Cohen Evans had some issues earlier with the internet, dropped out of the field, and I think that could be Brophy and Johnson's issue as well.
Well,
here's your leaders now.
Yeah, I was going to say, we had two guys fighting for the lead, and both of them...
Trade one for the other, I guess.
Yeah, the funny thing, too, is that, I guess it's not really that funny. It feels kind of mean to say that, but the unfortunate thing was that it happened within a turn of each other. Johnson's went in the back straight away, and then Brophy's went by turn 3, so... That is really, really, really unfortunate.
Yeah.
I was going to say the wrong word
there.
Yeah,
be careful.
Very unfortunate for both of them. But Wood and Bommersbach now get a fight for the lead. I imagine Bommersbach's going to take this much more aggressively now because this is a huge chance for him to get some points over John Poole, who's running in third.
Yeah, and what we're hearing is that Liam Sheen had a similar issue. So that there's definitely something going on with the server itself. And sometimes, I'm hearing that it's more hardware related. So, sometimes, Finney, and computers are not perfect. And we have to remember, as much as we want to treat this like real-world racing, it's not, and there are other factors that sometimes determine the winner, and just as in real life you have a tire explode.
Yeah, interesting. So Evans also had a
crash.
Yeah,
not interesting.
I'm curious what Johnson and Brophy have, because I mean, considering Liam also had a hardware thing, there might be an issue.
Well, it could certainly be a day-to-night glitch or something of the sort. But again, as often as you have tires explode in real-world racing, you sometimes have the internet go, you sometimes have hardware fail. So that's the equivalent in this sort of thing.
It's less about the reliability of your car and more about the reliability of the hardware.
We've had that issue more than we'd like to admit as well here. We had an issue last time we were at Kentucky, actually. Conveniently, at Kentucky, the last time we were here with the Fuel Cup Series, they also had a similar issue. So I don't really know if there's something specific to this racetrack or not, but it certainly seems to be a theme. Anyway, battle for the lead is settled down. Let's check in on 10th place Larkamp. He has just not found the pace tonight. Not sure what's up with him, but struggling.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious what's the story here as well. This has not been a good
race. It's not a bad day. It's just not. It's a bad day for Larkamp, but not sure what's going on.
Especially considering he's third in the points. He's 170 points in behind. Yeah, sorry, 148 in behind John Poole. So he's got a lot of points to make up, and again, considering both the Bommersbach and Poole are running really well tonight in comparison to him, it's not going to be looking for him good in the points. But Nicholas Johnson is back out on the track. If I was him, I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, he's six laps down at this point in the race with no cautions. He's really just out here for anybody else that has an accident. Woody Mahan and Will Roberts nose to tail for 8th. And Will Roberts is, again, rebounding quite nicely from that pit incident. Really wasn't that big of a deal, I guess, but he's found some pace and moving forward.
Pretty much been following with Woody Mahan up the order. Mahan's recovered back in 8th place, though he was running 10th.
Yeah, again, that penalty for the 8 car was huge in determining the outcome of this race. He would still be leading right now, probably.
I was going to say, I think again, everything that happened, I think he's just going to be kicking himself for that, because easily would have had the lead had he not had that penalty.
Beautiful sights from Kentucky Speedway, past halfway, closing in the final 50 laps of this race. Here in the Fuel Racetrack Designs IndyCar Series, the 9th round of the season, as we look down at this 1.5-mile racetrack. So far, it's been kind of wild up towards the front. Eric Gonzalez, fast early in the first run, has dropped to 5th. with some strategy. Andrew Wood, Kite Bommersbach take over the lead after Nicholas Johnson and Jason Brophy have connectivity issues and drop out of the race. So that is where we are right now. This racetrack looks beautiful at night, does it not?
It really does. As the leaders are coming on through here. So yeah, so we're really curious when they're going to make their pit stop. I'd imagine within the next 5 laps, we're going to see some guys start to deck off to pit road.
Yeah, so Will Roberts is one of the first ones we'd expect to see, or not, excuse me, Danny Roberts and Will Roberts for that matter. Two of the first drivers we'd expect to see down as they're 41 laps into their run. So within the next 7 to 10 laps, I think we'll see most of the field start to head to pit lane. Jack Andrick in the number 9 on the entry road to pit lane, which you don't need to take.
I was gonna say, I don't think he knows that he doesn't have to, but
Well,
I
he
guess
gave up a lot of time either way, so he heads on down first to make it to the end. Now the question is, can you make it from here?
Should be able to.
You should be able to without a problem.
Should be 46 laps to go, so
Okay,
should
so
be
we
well
should be
within-
fine.
Yep.
Will Roberts winning behind. Whoa, this is getting tight, and that's
Roberts is really close to hitting Mahan there.
and that's Don Runkle Jr. right in front of them. He's a lap down out of the fight. 7 tenths between the leaders. Andrew Wood, Kite Bommersbach, then Poole 1.7 back from second. Then behind him, it's a 1/10 of a second back to Scott Taylor in this 95. You mentioned his 7th place finish last week at Fontana. He's having a good mid-season breakout here.
He's been doing he doesn't really do that well in the beginning part of the race, but obviously that doesn't matter. It's where you are at the end, and he's been doing significantly better in the later parts of these races. He's appeared up inside the top 5.
Look where he started
top
tonight.
10. Yeah.
23rd to 4th, and actually working over John Poole for 3rd. This is an incredible run for the 95, and setting himself up for a great finish here.
Nicole Clark, he's down on pit road. Oh, he might have had an incident.
The 11 car?
Yeah. I saw his speed drop to 17 miles an hour, so I think
He
might have had something.
He had an incident last time heading to pit lane.
Oh,
Same
yeah.
thing again.
Let's see here. Yeah, just a bad. Yeah, I think he just had a tough time getting off the apron. I think that's what a lot of guys are struggling with. Is just that transition off the banking. I think a lot of these guys are taking it too gently. I think really here you have to get off of it as soon as you can. You don't want to be hanging around on the apron.
John Poole, Scott Taylor fighting for 3rd place. 1.3. Andrew Wood, his lead is growing, and his chances of going 2 for 2. iRacing seems to really want this 32 car to win, whether it be with the timing of the caution scoring or dropping the 2 leaders out of the session. Andrew Wood is looking pretty lucky right now.
Well, NASCAR has their biases, and I guess iRacing does too. As for the 32 Wood.
All right, so for 3rd place, Poole still trying to hang on in front of Scott Taylor.
And actually, too, I'm amazed. The gap between Wood and Bommersbach is pretty big. 1.3 seconds. Between them. And actually, here comes Andrew Wood down on pit road.
And again, we've seen drivers be exceptionally aggressive heading onto the pit lane tonight. And you see there's Danny Roberts, and Will Roberts is flying in behind, and that's going to certainly be a penalty that time. And unfortunately, that was just a little bit too hard and knocked that cone over, and that's certainly going to be not very forgiving here. And he slides through his pit box. Actually, that is his pit box. I don't see his pit board.
Wait, what?
It's up here. It's about 150 feet to his forward.
He's in Riley Thompson's pit stall, but still getting service.
I don't know what's going on.
That's a weird one. I've never seen that before.
So all sorts of anomalies going on right now. Danny Roberts heading out of the pit lane. Meanwhile, the lead is Kite Bommersbach in the 37. Overcut, undercut. Which one do you think is the best for the end of this race?
Honestly, don't really know. It depends on how Bommersbach is doing on his tires. He's running 24.8, which is not necessarily slow.
It's about half a second off.
Yeah,
so, I mean, it's pretty slow.
I was gonna say, I think it's enough to the point where you want to come in and pit as soon as you can. But he's continuing to run out there, so we'll have to see how this is going to play out for him. He's got his championship competitor, John Poole, 1.2 seconds in behind him.
And Andrew Wood in this 32 car, again, was the leader before the pit stop sequence began. And with the undercut, we do expect him to be the leader at the end of the sequence. Now, I think what Bommersbach is trying to do is just change something and try to get ahead of the 32 somehow. I mean, he's going to have to really push at the end to make this happen, but I don't think following the 32, you're going to really be able to do a whole lot. So if I was Bommersbach, I would have done the undercut on the 32, not vice versa, but we'll see how it works out for him.
Yeah, another driver taking the access road, that's Don Uncle Jr. I think some of these guys might just be taking it because it's easier for them to, rather than trying to transition off the banking.
Yeah, that could be. We do know that the 73 of Brian Harris has called it a night. I'm not sure if that's related to the issues we've been seeing or if he just pulled off or had an incident. Ooh, behind him. Other car entering.
Brent Jones.
Rodrigo Munoz in the 09, locking it up, heading to pit lane. And for a second, these guys have been fighting for lap after lap after lap. It's Poole and Scott Taylor. And Taylor has just been an annoyance in the ear of John Poole and not letting him get away. And here comes Nicholas Johnston.
Yeah, still 6 outside. He's just kind of going through this battle, saying, don't mind me, guys. I'm just out here trying to put some laps down. But it goes back down to just being John Poole and also Scott Taylor. But yeah, Taylor can get a top 3 finish here. We can get past Poole. Poole should be cycling out to around 3rd place.
Woody Mahan, whoa!
Oh, man.
That was close. I don't know if he got down to the speed, but Eric Gonzalez in the 42 certainly did. Stephen Larkamp is in as well from 10th.
I kind of want to
Caution!
Oh! Never mind that.
And it's Rodrigo Munoz in turn 1. Spun around right in the middle of the pit stop sequence.
In the lead.
And, wow. Well, Woody Mahan is back on the lead lap. So he should be cycled out. So he should be all right in all this. But our first caution on a lap number 100 as Rodrigo Munoz spins in turn 1. He had just hit pit lane. I need to fix this. Bear with me for one moment. Blue. All right. So we got to go back and take a look at how this happened. But Munoz had just returned to the racetrack after coming to pit lane.
And this pit road entry, or exit, I should say.
And just gassed it up and into the fence. Just spun it out.
Yeah, that's a dangerous part of the track to be on. Great job by everyone avoiding that. Yeah, it's always that shift, once you pit on the apron, that shift from 1st to 2nd gear, that's always the most treacherous. You usually want to make sure that you short shift a little bit to make sure you don't spin the tires on the back. Unfortunately for Rodrigo Munoz, unfortunately spun it out. Hopefully he only just has front wing damage. Yeah,
it looks like that's mostly what it is. So now the pit stop sequence will begin for the rest of the leaders. Bombers, Bach, Poole, everyone else hits pit lane. Andrew Wood is going to stay out. He should reassume the lead here after all this cycles out, and he's going to pull ahead.
Oh, he was a lap down.
Well, I didn't have them there on my timing and scoring that way, but I guess that's how he was ruled. He was definitely on the lead lap, at least here on our scoring screen, when the caution came out. So I don't know exactly how that worked out. But either way, that's going to hurt him, and Kite Bommersbach will retain the lead here as we roll out of the pits. Wow. So iRacing scoring giveth and iRacing scoring taketh away.
Well, he shouldn't have been in the lead lap, though.
I agree, but that's what I was seeing. So I don't know. You're right, he should have been a lap down, but he'll tuck in line about 9th or 10th or somewhere around there, I think. See how it cycles him out. But Bommersbach is going to lead the race. Scott Taylor in 2nd place. How about this guy? He's just having a great night so far.
So it's going to be Bommersbach, Taylor, Poole, Hurley, and Cristobal Valenzuela.
He's the only driver to break the 24-second margin tonight with a 23.980, a lap of 219.218 miles an hour.
And this is going to be interesting to the end here because no more pit stops involved. It's going to be a pure sprint to the finish with about 30 laps to go when they get back green.
So my question to you, you've only had one caution in 100 laps. Do you think we go green to the end?
I think we do. These guys have done a pretty good job. We might see some guys get into each other, but I think for the most part, I think we should be able to go green all the way to the end.
102 laps complete as we wait for the caution sequence to complete again. The 9th round of the 2019 Fuel Racetrack Designs IndyCar Series underway, almost complete. This weekend, L'Oreal is actually off this weekend. Did not know that. So Saturday night, no stream here on Sim TV on Saturday night, but Sunday, we've got a couple things going on. If you want to watch some IndyCar qualifying, 4-lap average qualifying will be on Sim TV on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then that'll be followed up in the evening with the 3-Wide Racing League Yinzer Graphics Unreal Tour from Knoxville, and then we head on Monday night to the penultimate race of the season for the Race Kings Cup Series. That will be, I believe, is that at Richmond? I think it's at... I have to look. I don't even know where that race is.
Which Cup Series?
Race Kings Cup. I'm trying to remember where that is.
It should be at Richmond.
Richmond. We're going to double check that because I'm not sure. Richmond. Okay, so Richmond on Sunday night for the Three Wide Racing League Race Kings Cup Series. And then Tuesday night, folks. We got a lot going on Tuesday. So here is our schedule on Tuesday night. 7:45 Eastern Standard Time is the Elite Modified Tour, sponsored by Speed 51. That'll be available on speed51.com/Elite Modified Tour at 9 p.m. The Fuel Mission 22 Cup Series returns for their next round, the final race of the regular season at USA International Speedway. And then, also at the same exact time, the Grid Life iRacers League returns to SimTV. After holding some viewership records from the 2018-2019 season, they return with global MX-5s from Silverstone at 9 p.m. on Tuesday.
You can figure out also what layout they're using. I have no clue.
The full layout.
Oh, they're using full,
yeah.
Okay.
And then on Wednesday night, the DC Region SCCA heads to, I believe, Summit Point is the first round there. And that will be on Wednesday at, I believe, 8 o'clock?
It's been a while since we've done them. I don't remember.
We got a whole lot coming up. Basically, our what we're telling you is, if you're not subscribed to SimTV, you should be, because we've got nothing but amazing iRacing content all of next week. We got Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday next week.
Yeah, so here's a fun thing that has absolutely nothing to do with anything. Actually, no, I'm not going to say it. I just realized we're 1 to green.
Well, we got time. Are we in 1 and 2 or 3 and 4? We're in 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here we go. 30 laps sprint to the end of the 9th round of the season. Here we go. Kite Bommersbach in control as the green flag drops again. 30 to go as Bommersbach leads them back to the green.
Very disorganized start here in the back. Some of the guys did not get going.
Yeah, bit of a mess as everyone gets launched and going again, but Bommersbach has the lead. Scott Taylor in second. Can he steal a win away? They're going to hunt for that yellow line. Now swing back to the right of the back straight.
Yeah, huge swing from the bottom to the top for Kite Bommersbach on the track. Trying to keep everyone in behind him because, again, especially that third place car, John Poole.
Danny Roberts on the inside of Gonzalez. Gonzalez got swamped on that start. Not what he wanted to see. He's also back here because of the way the strategy worked out. For the lead, 3 cars going at it. Taylor on the outside.
Yeah, Bommersbach is not going to be letting John Poole. He might let that 95 on by, but definitely not the 23. That's his championship competitor here, and he needs to get a leg up on him.
John Poole was denied a victory last week at Fontana due to scoring issues. He sits 3rd right now. Could he get redemption tonight? Scott Taylor has not won in this series. He wants to so bad. He sits 2nd right now. Going to swing to the outside of Bommersbach, who's also running well in the points.
You see him cutting down to the inside, trying to get a draft on the exit of the corner, then use it on the back straightaway. You see Bommersbach going defensive, and to the outside they go yet again.
The clock is ticking.
Yeah, I think that inside lane does too good for the first few laps.
The clock is ticking on the end of the race here tonight. Look at Taylor slot back in line. John Poole following there as they swing to the outside for turn 1. The long way around is the long game to play. I like this strategy by Scott Taylor. Make the 37 wear off his tires. But look, the 37's got the better run on the inside just because those tires are so fresh. Swing inside, outside, back to the bottom for turn 3.
Yeah, I'm just worried though. Remember, we saw Gonzalez do this exact strategy and he fell off by the end of the run. It's a shorter run this time around with only 30 laps. But, you know, those tires, he might wear them off just in time for the 95 to get by him before this race is over.
Formation flying around Kentucky Speedway as we close into 25 to go.
And how about Mike Hurley running in 4th place? This is a great run for him in that 33.
Bloom in 5th, Evan Adams in 6th.
Yeah.
Bommersbach goes back to the bottom of the racetrack to defend from John Poole, who steals 2nd place away.
Yeah, a bunch of cars up in the order that weren't up here earlier, mainly the 33, the 99, Adams, and Valenzuela.
Andrew Wood 2 laps down. Not sure what happened to him, but he's been buried. Something went on to put him a couple laps down. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, here comes Poole to the outside. He takes the lead away onto the back straight. Caution.
Oh, and yeah.
Danny Roberts. Big wreck on the back straightaway. Tumbling.
Involved as well. That's unfortunate.
One of our early leaders out of the race, Danny Roberts in the 41, up and over, upside down on the back straightaway on lap 111. Our 2nd caution of the night. And this was a nasty accident.
Started way before.
Here's a look. Danny Roberts and the 8 of Woody Mahan off into turn 1, and here's the incident.
You see him having a peek to the inside and off the corner. I just clipped him.
Oh, wow. 2 cars airborne. I think it was just those 2.
Yeah.
But a nasty impact into the barriers. And here's the impact. Wow, look at the 8 car right up on the nose, into the wall, gets launched and tripped over by the 41 as they both catch air. And look at the 41 come back down. He's going to land right on the rear tire, which saves the roll hoop from damage. A nasty accident. So here's what it looked like off into turn 1. You see the 8 car is going to turn on down. I'm not really sure who to put this on here. My initial thought was the 8 car.
Yeah, I mean, I would say him. He was just getting, tight off the corner.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's not a whole... I mean, there's a lane there, so...
Yeah.
You see him, right? He gets in and he's going to lose the air on the nose. I think that's really what tripped it off. Of course, he's going to ride up, and this is a big impact.
Holy Jesus.
Wow.
The nose of the 8 going into the cockpit of the 41.
And we're right on board a couple drivers. Andrew Wood back here, who is 2 laps down. We'll see his perspective as they came off into turn 1. And I'm just trying to find who I was looking for, the 32 of Andrew Wood. Here is his view of the accident. He was coming out of the pits, maybe serving a penalty potentially. And that could be why he was laps down. You see ahead, there's the red car and the blue car at the top of the screen.
Yeah, that's coming. You see it just happened so quickly up ahead. I'm amazed that really no one else got involved in this. Especially Larkham, you see who's up there.
Yeah, watch this. Wow. Swing to the inside. Everyone did a good job missing it, but a dramatic accident will take out 2 of our front runners, especially Woody Mahan, who led a bunch of laps tonight. He will end down in 18th place. Anyway, for the lead, John Poole's got it. And I guarantee you he's going to make sure he wins tonight if he's at the front when a caution comes out. He's not going to give up this spot easily. Scott Taylor still in 3rd, and again, I'm just so impressed with his night tonight.
Yeah, started in 23rd, up in 3rd, has a really good shot getting the lead here.
Mike Hurley in the 33 started 14th. Evan Adams started 19th. He's 5th right now. Vic Bloom, haven't talked about him a whole lot tonight, 12th to 6th. Cristobal Valenzuela, 16th to 7th.
Yeah, you see Yeltsin Gonzalez all the way back in 10th. A lot of the guys are running the front are, for the most part, outside the top 10 other than our top 3.
And Gonzalez led 12 of the first couple laps. And has since dropped out of the running. And he always seems to have this incredible pace, but just can't seem to hang on to it for the whole race. Either that or gets taken out. Was lucky to avoid that collision on the back straightaway. Second caution of the evening. Taking a look, we've had 12 lead changes at the front of the field. 6 caution laps, 2 cautions so far. Right now the leader, John Poole, in the 23. And I'm not exactly sure what the reason was and why Andrew Wood was down on pit lane again. But was serving potentially a 15-second penalty for something.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly,
I'd like to get an update on the 32, but I honestly don't know. So we'll check in with that post-race to find out what put the 32 laps down, because he was a contender, and then the pit stop sequence got interrupted with that first caution, and now he's 16th and completely out of the running for the win. Could have been a blend line violation. Could have been a number of things.
I was gonna say maybe a penalty on the restart.
Could have been that. We'll have to check in.
He should have been only.
So this is why I'm working on that live race control thing.
But the only problem is that this series isn't on the live.
Well, we're going to work on that. All right, lining back up for the restart. There'll be 20 laps to go. Your predictions?
Yeah. Honestly, I'm going to go with the 95 of Scott Taylor. He's looking pretty racy up there in the top 3. I'd say out of those guys, he probably has the best shot. I'm curious how the 23 and the 37 is going to go. I feel like Bommersbach is in the worst position. He was just kind of stuck down the inside. It seems really committed to that lane. I don't know how he's going to fare on the top side. Who do you pick?
Well, it's hard to bet against guys that have been up front all night long, but I think John Poole's got this. I mean, Scott Taylor sitting in 3rd. I like that pick. I think he's running really, really well, but John Poole's leading the point standings, and it's not by accident. I think he goes on and leads these last 20 laps, or at least a portion of them, and will win this race. 20 laps to go at Kentucky. John Poole in control of the race. Kite Bommersbach 2nd. Taylor, Hurley, Adams, Vic Bloom, Valenzuela, Thompson, Larkamp, Gonzalez. Your top 10. Here we go. 20 to go. Green flag back in the air.
And a great start for John Poole. Not so much for the guys in behind. Big checkups in the midfield.
Yeah, they've been struggling with getting these restarts down towards the rear here. Everyone's scattered. Thompson trying to grab a spot from the 3 of Valenzuela on the inside. Now we've seen these runs get built on the restarts. How much can John Poole run away before Bommersbach reels him in and uses the momentum to swing around him?
Yeah, not at all, pretty much. You see him get into the corner there, and he's going to try to give Bombersbach some dirty air, but that 37 is unaffected. The tire is still good for him. There is a look to the inside.
Here he comes down the inside. Bombersbach for the lead. Here they go.
Should be able to take it here by the turn. There you see him rocking around the inside. Poole's going to have to fall in behind. And these two are going to pretty much go at it where they left off.
Nose to tail, Poole's going to swing back to the left. He wants this spot back. Denied at Fontana. He does not want to be denied in Kentucky tonight. Goes back to the top spot. A big shuffle out of turn 4. Thompson getting a bunch of spots in that 56 car. Could he have something to say about this at the end?
And even in the middle, right in behind them, Stephen Larkamp's 3 wide. Or 3 wide for a second there as he's trying to work through traffic. This is kind of a second lease on life for him.
Up at the front, you see way off in the distance, the battle for the lead. Poole still has it. They're swinging left. They're swinging right. Here they go into turn 3.
Yeah, it's a 3-4 car fight. Actually, Mike Hurley is just in behind them in case something happens with the leaders, which it definitely could here with under 20 laps to go.
17 to go. Bombersbach into third as Taylor and that purple IR18 goes to second. To the middle of the racetrack goes the 95.
Yeah, makes a clean pass on Bombersbach now, trying to work over on John Poole. Does he force the issue here? Is he just a little bit patient?
Middle of the racetrack. I like the line the 95 is running. It's conservative but doesn't give up too much. Coming back to 16 to go now, building a run on the leader. Poole is leading the standings, but can Scott Taylor deny him a win this week?
There he comes. You see him building a run on that outside lane, but by the time they get to that corner, the inside lane is just too much dominant at the moment.
Scott Taylor has the best lap in this race, almost averaging 220 miles an hour. He's led 0 in the final 15 laps. Can he lead 1? He's only got to lead 1, Finian. That's that white flag lap.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be eyeing on trying to set himself up. And remember, too, that we saw similar running for the leaders like this, and that was with Mahan in the middle. He took the lead for quite a bit, so I think if Taylor just continues to persist this outside lane, he's got a shot on John Poole.
Yeah, Bombersbach has to deal with Mike Hurley now for third, so I think for now it's just between these front two. Swinging back to the right goes the 95 into turn 3. Bombersbach's gotten clear of Mike Hurley, dives back to the inside in 3 and 4, setting himself up to get back by. I think you can win from second. I don't think you can win from third. You got to be P2 or better on that white flag lap.
Yeah, I think, again, these cars are way too competitive from third place going to the front just one lap unless the leaders wreck. I think that's what Bombersbach would be hoping for at that point if he can't get back into at least second place.
Kentucky's racetracks might be known for hosting horse racing, Finian, but I can guarantee you if 600-plus horses are going out to their maximum capability right now in that 95 car, you're going to use that slipstream. You're going to use every tool you have in your kit to get by this leader, this points leader, the driver that's been so dominant this season, and it was denied a win. He's so hungry after last week, is John Poole, that he's going to be doing everything it takes to get a win in this series.
Yeah, that would really suck if there was another situation. Oh, almost some contact there in the corner.
Taylor got spooked, had to head up the racetrack, lost some ground.
Yeah, but I was just saying, it would be unfortunate for Poole. He had a situation what happened to him last week, where there's a scoring, I wouldn't say error, but
no, it wasn't.
Scoring discrepancy.
Yeah, let's be clear about that. It was not a scoring error. The rules state that iRacing scores the drivers on the last lap. There was a misconception that the caution lights are when the race is over. That's NASCAR's rule. That's not this rule here. So if a caution comes out on the last lap, the field is not frozen at the time of caution. It's frozen at the previous scoring loop. That's how iRacing's always done it. That's how it was done last week, consistent with the rules. But Scott Taylor, look at the run he built on the front straightaway with that slipstream.
Trying to build up a run here, I guess trying to eye out where Poole is good or not. I think he needs to continue pushing that 23 on exit and entry. So that way he can force him to use up his tires, because otherwise he's going to be running all for naught.
Yeah, Stephen Larkamp is up into 6th after fighting beyond 10th for most of the day, so a couple drivers dropping out has been fruitful for the 31 and the 56 of Riley Thompson, who breaks into the top 5. Evan Adams is right there as well in this big group fighting for P5, but we don't want to break away from the lead as they're nose to tail in the back straightaway with 10 laps to go. Left, right goes the 95.
Yeah, trying to get some drives while also trying to make a pass on John Poole. You see him just ever so sideways on the side of the 23, just trying to stay out there, and you see him on the straightaway too. He's been getting better at building up these runs.
Is this a losing battle for either of these two cars, Finney? Which lane is going to prevail in the final 9 laps?
I think that outside lane will. It's going to be close. I don't think it's going to really come in until the last few laps, considering that caution kind of broke up that run. And there you see him pushing him to the inside is exactly what the 95 needs to do. Punch him to the inside.
There could not have been inches between them on the back straightaway. Bombersbach and Hurley following if these two get together. Wheel to wheel at the start-finish line, 8 to go.
Almost making contact there. The 95 is just going to taste the lead
there
down to turn 1.
Oh, that was almost
contact
it.
Into turn 1.
That was almost it right there. That could have been disaster for the 95. Poole leaning over on the 95, trying to spook him out of the inner groove. Nose to tail they are into turn 3, and Bombersbach is back.
Yeah, Bombersbach's being aggressive yet again. We see him
understeer.
washing way up the hill and behind.
Yeah, big understeer for the 37 in that arrow wash. That just tells me you need to pick a different lane if you want to get by the leader.
That's the problem, too. He's facing the wash of 2 cars, not just one, what the 95 is facing with, and he's been doing a good job just staying out of that in the corners. Then you see him make a big dive to the inside.
I don't
now.
like this move, Finney. I think the outside's the place to win the race, but Taylor dives down the inside in 3. He's not going to be able to clear the 23 car. Door to door as they come out of turn 4, and I think Poole has now got the best spot to be in.
We'll see if the 95 tries to let up and let him
mistake.
in behind.
Big mistake by the 95. Should have stayed on the outside. Here comes Bommersbach now.
And Bommersbach taking advantage of the 95's judgment to the inside and not going to try to take that second place away.
Yeah, that was a big mistake. I think that might have lost him the race. He needed that outside group. Bommersbach is there now. He's in position to steal this race away from Poole in the final 5 laps. Here we go.
Here we go, White. Oh, sorry, not White Flag. 5 laps to go.
And Mike Hurley now trying to get to the outside of the 95.
Yeah, Hurley's just been kind of sitting in here. I'm curious if he has anything. And here he goes to the inside of Scott Taylor. I think Taylor's run out of steam.
Yeah, again, I think it was all because of the momentum he lost on that bottom lane. That was a disastrous call for the end of the race. To the outside goes a 37, trying to build a run as the 95 did a couple laps ago. 4 laps to go at Kentucky.
There he goes to the outside of Poole now. You see, whoa! Contact!
The 37 way up the racetrack, scrapes the wall in turn 1. Does he make it?
Yeah, he makes it.
He made it.
All right, well, 95's got another chance. He's got to keep the foot to the metal, though.
Like a phoenix out of the ashes, the 95 is reborn for one final attempt to run down the 23.
He's only going to have one shot at this. He can't afford to make a run and then lose momentum. He's going to have to time this to be pretty much on the last lap.
Yeah, he's, again, the 23's been on the bottom for the last couple laps. He's got less tire than Scott Taylor does. Taylor's got to use that to his advantage. He's got 3 laps. It's not a lot of time. He'll have one good run at it. He's got to take it and run. Riley Thompson in the back of this group up to 5th, hunting down Hurley and Bommersbach, but it's going to be between the front 2.
I was going to say, Thompson might get up into 3rd, but I don't think he's definitely going to touch the lead. It's really, like you said, down between these 2 guys, and Taylor's back in it.
Big run into turn 1. 3 miles left to go for Scott Taylor and John Poole. Running nose to tail down the back straightaway, and the 95 to the outside lane. Turns 3 and 4, coming to the white.
Yeah, it's a big run there. Is going to go a little bit too far to the outside. Maybe set up a run down the front straightaway. Here we go. White flag in the air. 1.5 miles left to go.
Scott Taylor can taste it to the outside for turn number 1. Final lap. White flag at Kentucky.
Let's see if he tries to pinch him. He's giving him some room there, and he's not too far in behind. Maybe setting up for these final 2 quarters. He's going to have one final shot here down to the inside.
He's going to be there. He's there to the inside. Here comes Taylor down the inside for turn 3. He clears John Poole. Poole's going to try the crossover. Coming to the checkers. Here we go. Drag race to the line. Taylor, Poole, side by side at the line.
And it's Poole by a nose.
By 18 thousandths of a second.
How about that? Came apparently sideways across the line. It might have just been happy.
A drag race out of turn 4. John Poole, after being denied a win in Fontana, recovers and wins at Kentucky. What a finish. And you gotta hand it to Scott Taylor, Finney, and that expert dive into 3, almost had it.
Yep.
And just slid up a little bit too high and gave the 23 too good of a shot to come on back. But what a finish between Taylor and Poole. Certainly the best finish of the season.
Absolutely. These guys have done a phenomenal job and hell of a finish between them.
John Poole, the winner at Kentucky. Burnout time for the 23 as he leads the standings.
Wasn't able to do it last week. We're finally going to do it this week.
No questions this time around. No controversy. Just flat out racing to the checkers. Here's a look at your race results. 126 of our 134 laps were green flag. 12 lead changes. And if it was 13, it would have been the 95 in control of the race and to the checkers. There's Evan Adams, who got a 7th place out of that. A great result for him. Mike Hurley with a 4th in that 33. Yeah. That was a strong run as well. Disappointments tonight for Danny Roberts, Woody Mahan, Brophy, Evans, Liam Sheen. All had chances to run really well tonight. And Johnston, yeah. All had chances to run really well had things not work out for them. All right, let's take a look at that finish before we head to break here, but you can't take this one away from him. Coming to the checkers. I don't think we've seen a better race this season.
Yeah.
least not in this series.
And there you see Jess in the last. Jess right as they're getting to the middle of the tri-oval, Poole made the pass, so it was really close up the line.
Taylor gets this run, a big run, and you see the 23 gave him the inside lane, and Taylor just dove for it, has it complete, and he had to keep the momentum rolling, swings to the right, and that is just enough for Poole to beat him back. And just by a wheel's width and a little bit more.
Yeah. It's amazing that there's quite a bit of separation, but it's 18 thousandths of a second there.
I mean, well, because they're doing 215 miles an hour.
Because they're going so fast.
But, I mean, you gotta...
Yeah. And it's amazing, too, because he didn't pass him until right about here.
Yeah, I mean, it was 100 feet for Scott Taylor, and across the line, what a finish, what a result. We're going to talk to both of them here in just a moment, so stay with us. We will be right back.
It's the annual All-American 400, November 2nd and 3rd. On Saturday, it's all quarter division, super trucks, qualifying late models, and last chance races. Bring the kids for trunk or treat and admission. Kids in Halloween costumes get in free. First green flag at 5:30. Then on Sunday, it's the 35th annual All-American 400 with drivers from all over the country, including Sterling Marlin and more. 400 laps for the super lates and 100 for the pro lates. The first green flag flies at 1 p.m. Discount tickets now at fairgroundspeedwaynashville.com. It's the All-American 400. Fairgrounds Speedway Nashville, where the legend lives on.
Welcome back live to Sim TV, here now with fourth place finisher Mike Hurley driving the number 33 car tonight. Textron Aviation on the side. Mike, one of your best finishes of the series, of the season. You got to be thrilled with the fourth place. What'd you need to go up there and compete with those top three?
I'll be honest, that was almost entirely on luck for the pit strategy. I was just stretching my fuel out as long as I possibly could, hoping for a caution, and for once it actually fell together. So I drove my heart out, but I probably wouldn't have even gotten that were it not for that caution.
Talk to me about the long runs tonight. We had 100 laps before we even had a yellow flag. So what was the tire fall off like, and how much did you have to change your line over the course of the run to find speed?
That's kind of the thing I was finding, was that the tire fall off was not really there time-wise. What I was finding was more that it was kind of limiting your ability to overtake. You didn't really have the choice in line when you were getting more into a tire run. And that might have just been the way I was driving too, because I was seeing guys pull moves that were crazy, and I had no hope of doing them.
You think if you had another restart late in the race, you could have done anything else with the top three, or do you think it needed to? That was probably as good as you could get. You think?
Maybe could have squeezed out a podium, but quite honestly, at the end there, I was just trying to be a bit of a nuisance to pull those guys back to make sure that John won, because I mean he's our Scott Dixon. I'm maybe Veach if not Marco. So.
All right, hey
I
Mike.
just realized the wrong thing, but yeah.
No, it's all right, man. We want to wish you congratulations. It's a great top 5 result for you in that 33. Congrats on that, and hopefully we'll see you around again.
Awesome, thanks, and I hope to be back here at some point.
All right. Typically, when you talk to some TV, it's been a good day. Moving on now to Scott Taylor in the number 95. A second-place finish tonight. Scott, 18 thousandths of a second was the margin tonight in your Taco Bell IR18. Also, sponsorship works. We're going to get Taco Bell after this, so thank you for that. But talk to us about chasing down John Poole and trying to squeeze on by him. I know you had one final dive bomb move. You made it stink, but he got by you on the straight. Walk us through that final battle.
Yeah, I felt like he was going to be defending that inside the whole entire stint from the restart, so I was just trying to keep him down there long enough so that when it came to the point where he started to slide, I'd have that outside positioning on him. At one point, he started clearing me, and I decided to try and make a move to the inside. That didn't work, and Caton made a good move to get around me. Worked my way back. I was just going all over the place. That was a whole lot of fun, and I'm impressed as how he cut back down on my inside there on the slider. He must have saw it coming. But I put it all out there, and it was a fun race.
It seems like it was extremely difficult to follow a driver closely tonight. The aerial push didn't really seem like it was helping anybody. So did you feel like you could win it on the high side, or did you feel like you had to go to the bottom to make a pass?
There was an opportunity on the outside. Before the last green flag pit stops, I was really making a move on the outside there. A lot of people were about half a tenth or 2/10 slower. And I was hoping that maybe that same deal would come into play late. You know, there just wasn't enough laps to make it work, but that's what I was betting on.
Scott Taylor, second tonight by 18 thousandths of a second, one of the closest finishes this season. Scott, thanks for talking to us. Congratulations. Hopefully we'll see you around again.
Thank you. Great broadcast. Thank you.
Moving on now to, I think we got Kite Bommersbach in the booth now. Finished third tonight. 2/10 behind the two leaders who were battling wheel to wheel to the finish. Kite, close but no cigar tonight. What'd you need to go get those top two?
A few more laps and maybe some less netcode. That would always help, huh?
It did seem like that was affecting the situation tonight, but just if you had another chance to do things over again, did you feel like there was something you could have done different to get by John Poole, or do you think you were kind of in a position where it was a lose-lose either way?
Now, I was prepared to just hold him down as tight as I possibly could up top. I've set that move up many a time and was ready to do it again right there, and just netcode got in the way of it. I was really lucky to keep it out of the wall and then stay in front of Mike and hold on to the podium. But all in all, I can't be upset with a shot to win and a podium finish, especially bouncing back from crashing out really early last week.
Rebounding from that crash, a third place tonight, a podium for Kite Bommersbach. Kite, thanks for talking to us. We'll see you later.
Thank
you. All right, moving on now to our race winner, John Poole, who was denied a victory last week at Fontana. Race Control didn't want him to win last week, but John, congratulations. You did it this time. No questions asked. You won it fair and square by 18 thousandths of a second. Walk us through that restart in those final couple laps.
Wow. I'm just speechless. Gonna be cheeky here and say, glad that I got 2 in a row there, even though Race Control didn't think it last week. But 2 close finishes. I gotta, get a better strategy at this because it's stressful, I tell you what. But final restart, it was about 20 laps, I believe, or so. Knew that we were light on fuel. Tires were going to last a little longer on the run, but they were going to start to wear out. So I was planning for that, felt that with about 10 laps to go, the tires were starting to go, that maybe the bottom line, protecting that wasn't going to be the best strategy to win the race. So I tried moving up high, played protect as much as I could. Scott sent a Hail Mary into the final corner, and I just barely nipped him at the line and got him. So it was awesome. Awesome.
You're going to walk away with a growing points lead. Your thoughts on the rest of the season, and do you think you can hang on to this points lead until the end?
It's really nice to come out of here with a extended championship lead, as any driver would. rest of the season, kind of cautiously optimistic. Have some tracks that I'm decent at, like the Glen, but some unknowns like Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and then some tracks I'm not necessarily a fan of, like Laguna Seca. So it's going to be a tough one throughout. I think I'm holding about a 30-point lead with the drop week, so just got to keep being consistent, running up front, beat Kite, and we'll get the championship.
John Poole, winner tonight. No denying this victory this time around. John, congratulations. We'll see you around.
Thank you, Kyle.
See ya. Star Trek on the side of that car. Finian, a rocket ship tonight for the 23 of John Poole. Winner here in the Fuel Racetrack Designs IndyCar Series. What a great race. What a great finish. What a great drive by everybody this evening. Only a couple of yellows. Some incredible racing all around. Your thoughts on that race?
Yeah, no, it was really an amazing race as these guys have typically been putting on. I was actually sifting through Discord, and apparently Brophy and Johnston had the same exact error up here for iRacing, which I guess explains why they went on almost at the same time. And a few other drivers, too, were saying that they had some actual hardware issues. So looks like it wasn't really an internet side of things tonight, more so the hardware side of things that took a lot of people out of it, which is unfortunate. You never want to see that, especially our two leaders who should have been going at it. Unfortunately, those hardware errors happened to them, and they got taken out of the running.
Andrew Wood finishes 14th. Actually got a penalty entering pit lane because the pits were closed because the caution happened right as he was entering the pit lane. So unfortunate for him. Things didn't work out for the 32 tonight. But that's going to do it for us this evening. The next time you'll see us is going to be on Sunday afternoon with we got a Indy 500 qualifying session all afternoon. And then on the evening, we've got Knoxville with the trucks. That'll be fun. Any final thoughts? We're going to go get Taco Bell. Thanks to Scott Taylor for tipping us off to that. And I guess we'll see you on Sunday afternoon. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good night.